So let's take you through the grid for the opening heat of the 2024 Classic Kart Race 100cc European Grand Prix. It's going to be Prix 2000 and Prix 2000 Plus qualifying heat groups A versus C. So you've got Robert Schlunzen and Jonas Villersen alongside on the front row. Then we've got Lasse Rorikheid and Engström Christensen on row number 2. Kasper Stolzer and Alden Larsen rounding out row 3. And we've got numbers 77 and 14. That'll be Lasse Jensen and Nick Madsen. Mark Risse in the number 85 rounds the inside of row number 5. And we'll be joined by the number 48 of Denmark's Allan Hansen. Then we've got... it looks like Tobias Klangries in the 84, also representing Germany. And then Jesper Killestrup Egerbart on the 131 Dino, rounding out the 6th row of the grid. Then we've got Dear Schilling, the teammate at Team Brask for Lorenzo Travisanuto. And then the number 52, which will be Martin Hansen on the Tony kart. Then we head over we've got 2 Dutchmen in this one. David Westerberger from the Netherlands. And we've also got Torben Koch on the number 59 Tony kart. Adding along with that, you've got the number 42 kart, which is piloted by Tommy Nielsen from Denmark. Then Jeff de Klerk, Henry de Kager, and then also at the back end of the grid on the Techno SS22, Magnus Stanisborg. So, Schlunzen and Villersen on the front row of the grid as they come through the final part of the complex here at this 1.4 kilometre circuit. So, 8 minutes on the timer here for Prix 2000 qualifying heats A versus C. Revs rise, lights are out. Are they out? We have got an underway, and Schlunzen already darts in front of Villersen as they head into turns 1 and 2 on the opening tour. So these karts are going to be very, very rapid. They're going to go into this banked right-hander here at 3. And then it's the infield section. Schlunzen already pulling a 2 to 3 kart length lead over Villersen. As the number 80 and the 48 go into battle. So into the far part of the circuit, now into this wonderful right-hand hairpin, and then it's going to be powering out of the right-hander there, and then it's going to be flat on the throttle. And then into the next left-hand hairpin, so you've got literally 3 back-to-back hairpins, and then you are literally on the power. By the time you come through the final corner, Robert Schlunzen has pulled away from Villersen quite significantly, Jonas Villersen in the number 15. The gap between them is 0.733 of a second. I see Rorikheid rounds out the top 3. And then it's the number 80 of Martin Engström Christensen. Dive, move up the inside. That is the 157 of Larsen. Alden Larsen from Norway. And has got through on Killestrup Egerbart. That will have been for 7th place on the road. Oh, bit of a moment there by one of the drivers a little bit further back. So 6 minutes and 20 seconds still to go. And dive bombs aplenty into the first of multiple hairpins around the circuit here at Voyens. Robert Schlunzen starting to eke out that gap over Jonas Villersen. And it's getting a little bit closer behind between 3rd and 4th place. There's their line astern. So at the moment, Schlunzen leads. Villersen over a second behind Rorikheid, running out the top 3. Then Engström Christensen, exactly where he started, 4th place. As there's the number 7, Schilling from Denmark. Trying to catch the eyes of the number behind. I think that might have been the number 89, possibly, or 59. Well, that just went out of shot, so it didn't really clap eyes on it. Again, each of these Prix 2000 and Prix 2000 Plus drivers will be competing in 2 successive heats And Robert Schlunzen has the fastest lap of the race so far, 59.355. And we still have just 5 minutes to go on the timer, and Schlunzen now has a lead of 1.5 seconds and is starting to cruise off into the distance. As close as the person that who's now actually helping out Lorenzo Travisanuto is Sandro Mara, who finished third last year. Gave Schlunzen a bit of a fright in the final, but also picks up not just third in Prix 2000, but also picks up the win in the Formula E trophy for rotary-powered karts. So with 4 minutes and 20 still to go on the timer, Schlunzen leads after the opening 3 laps by 1.5 seconds over Jonas Willerton, Lasse Røregaard in third, Michael Engström Christensen, Alan Hansen, Alden Larsen, Jesper Kilsgaard Egerbard, and then we've also got Lasse Jensen, Deer Schilling, and Kasper Stolze rounding out the top 10. Schlunzen now leads by nearly 1.9 seconds as he fires it through the 90 right at turn 2. And then we still have most of the drivers running around the circuit at the moment. Jonas Willerson not really having an answer for Robert Schlunzen, who has been trying to get himself match fit for putting himself through the arduous task of going into a Porsche a little bit later on this season. Oh, nice move up the inside there on the 131. That was Jesper Kilsgaard Egerbard being dive-bombed by Deer Schilling, the teammate of Lorenzo Travisanuto. Really good to see Team Brask in full effect here. Also Jesper Karlsson, a former member of said outfit. But Schlunzen seems to be keeping things under control nice and easily. This circuit also is the home of the team that he actually runs in international competitions, RS Competition. And I've got to know Robert over the last few years, and the Birol that he runs on is the one that he actually used in the late 90s. And we're sitting dormant for 2 decades. Battle here for 8th, 9th and 10th. So Deer Schilling is ahead of Jesper Kilsgaard Egerbard and Alden Larsen. So that is 7th, 8th and, well, it's according to the timing that I'm seeing, 7th, 8th and 9th, because I'm not too sure. Well, Lasse Jensen is showing as 7th. But we're coming down to the final 2.5 minutes on the timer. And good to see Ulrich de Cruz saying, I remember going to one of Joe's first races nearly 30 years ago. God, crikey. Now I feel like a young pup, you saying that. Thank you very much for that, Ulrich. But the timetable is going to be quite compacted. We've got plenty of races. We've also got some show runs. The first one at 1:45 p.m. local time. So it's good to have them all with us. A bit further back, battle between the number 4. Oh, the number 77 has gone round at turn 2. Oh, dearie me. Lasse Jensen from Denmark has just spun it around. It may have been unassisted, but there will be yellow flags, yellow digital flags at turn 2. Meantime, Mark Risse closing in on Tom Kleingries. Mark Risse, one of the usual combatants in the GKC 100, the Gentleman Kart Challenge 100. So Mark is just some of the German brigade that have made the travel north up here to Voyens. We're coming down to the final minute, and Schlunzen again puts in another good lap as, Engström Christensen really motoring forward and trying to get close to and try and pass Jonas Willerton for second place on the road. They go into the bank right-hander here at turn 3. Now into the first part of the infield section. Willerton has the legs on the number 80 at the moment, and up the inside through into the next left-hander. Tries to go Engström Christensen, but can't get through. Could be towards the latter part of the circuit, but he might have that opportunity to get past. Now, when we get into the hairpin sections, it's going to be who's going to be braver on the brakes. Is it going to be Engström Christensen? Will it be Willardson? We're going to find out very, very shortly. There's a little bit further back. I think Deer Schilling and one of the other drivers might be embroiled in a little bit of a battle, but coming down to count down the time here at Prix 2000 qualifying Heat 1, A versus C. So, last lap underway for Robert Schlunzen. Jonas Villotson has managed to pull a gap slightly to the tune of 4.5 tenths of a second over Michael Engstrom Christensen. And Deer Schilling now up into P6, having got past number 14 of Madsen. But Schlunzen has calmly got on with the business at hand. Of course, we are going to see some other drivers compete in the next few heats coming up. Dear me. Now I find out how old Joe is, Joe Scory. But it is going to be down to the case of one driver that's going to take the checkered flag after the opening heat has been completed. And that driver is the number 22. Robert Schlunzen wins the opening heat of the weekend for qualifying heat 8, A versus C. Jonas Villotson and Michael Engstrom Christensen round out the top 3. Lasse Rodderkaid and Alan Hansen round out the top 5. Ahead of Deer Schilling, Nick Madsen. And it looks like there might be a couple of amendments if there have been any penalties issued post-race. Straight after the finish, they will dive into the entrance into pit lane and park for May as the last few drivers come across the line. So they go onto the weighbridge. Park for May checks will be carried out, but Robert Schlunzen draws first blood here in Voyens at the opening Prix 2000 qualifying heat. 1A versus C, and takes the win by 1 3/4 seconds ahead of Jonas Villotson, Michael Engstrom Christensen, Lasse Rodderkaid, Alan Hansen, Deer Schilling, Nick Madsen showing 7th across the line. According to the time, he dropped to 9th, so may have had a post-race penalty. Jesper Kilser Egerbart, Alden Larsen, Tom Kleingries, Mark Risse, they round out the top 11 ahead of David Weziberger, Jeff de Klerk. Then we've got Tobin Koch, Tommy Nielsen, Henry de Kaga, Lasse Jensen, who had that spin at turn 2. Kasper Stolzer rounding out the top 18 ahead of Martin Hansen and Magnus Dannesborg.